These new winemakers are found in the upper reaches of the Douro Valley, and to reach them I passed through a slice of a different wine region, Mignoux, in order to meet an Englishman living in a 16th century convent. Piers Galley makes the table wine that Portugal is perhaps best known for, Vinho Verde. How did you end up living here?
Well, I suppose it was my father looking for a house to retire to, and it was really the sort of quiet and the sort of bucolic atmosphere which he wanted for his retirement.
It looks so different here. This is green everywhere, and the vines are humongous. I mean, they're very, very high up.
Lots of greenery, really because of the humidity we have. The traditional way of growing was always off the ground to keep it away from grass and humidity. Then in the old days they would have been growing tomatoes and cabbages and lettuces, and so it was to be able to grow other things as well as wine. Peasant farming culture was one which was to have a little bit of everything so that you didn't starve, basically.
So what is at the origin of the name Vinho Verde? Because literally it means green wine, but obviously you get white wine and red wine out of Vinho Verde. So where does it all come from?
I think there's sort of two reasons behind the name Vinho Verde. One was the area is very green, always, very lush, and so it was part of that scene, and so you've got Vinho Verde. And it was, when it was created, it was probably the only wine which in Portugal was drunk young. So verde means, you know, a young wine.
Immature.
And so
Vinho Verde is a light wine that is low in alcohol and has long been relegated to a cheap summer holiday drink. Much of the wine produced does little to change this perception, but thankfully Piers takes his wine very seriously.
What we're trying to do is to have slightly more flavour, more aromas, and try and produce a serious wine.
The name Vinho Verde comes lumbered with a whole load of, you know, image which is not particularly positive.
It is, and there's a trend for various Quinta wines, properties to try and get rid of the words Vinho Verde on the label. They put it on the back label, or they make it small, or make it try and disappear, because of the fact that it's seen as a generic wine with a fairly cheap and cheerful image.
It's really light and fresh, but it's very aromatic. So there's a lovely intensity of fruit there. And it's a perfect combination because, you know, there's no wood and there's no, you know, lots of alcohol and lots of body, so it's a really easy drinking, but at the same time, you've got such a lovely freshness of flavours and aromas. It's almost quite grapey in style. And I imagine that you could probably sit down, have that at pretty much any time of the day with pretty much any...
Well, I do, for sure.
That's what you do. That's how you drink it, anytime.